Welcome, acolytes. Today I'm reacting to Rev again, just because I actually find this particular part quite interesting. So, another toxic game developer who thinks that he's hot shit, so don't we love it all? But let's just start and see what Rev has to say about it.
Hey, what's up guys, Rip here.
And by the way, if you like my content, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, press the notification button, and show me and Rev some love. And for some reason I just try to not do it at the start, but it freaking works so good that I just have to repeat it. Insane, but hey.
So today we're going to be covering some more gaming related news, beginning with this headline that has a lot of people very confused. So That Park Place reports Mass Effect the board game designer attacks fans as effing man babies after game receives negative reviews allegedly for pushing gender ideology. So if I had
Good, by the way, I am every time I hear this, I am so happy. I am actually quite happy about this every single effing time. And I repeated it a few times and I'm gonna repeat it again. I like it. Because they just show their faces. And this just contributes to the fact that we're gonna get rid of them at some point. It may still take a lot of time, but at some point...
a nickel a franchise sold out for this kind of stuff, I'd have a pretty good amount. I could buy a fast food burger. Like, I could buy a Five Guys burger. That's how much money I would have collected with that sort of comparison. But what are people talking about when they say that Mass Effect is pushing gender ideology? Well, this is the screenshot that's making the rounds on Twitter right now. It's very obvious what they're doing. They are pushing this gender ideology. You can see Shepard, he, him pronouns, Liara, she, they pronouns. And also not lost on me is what I believe is a very clear misspelling right here. They're supposed to be saying adrenaline and they missed the D, which is just kind of sloppy. And maybe I have the
Oh... You can make mistakes. To a certain part it's okay. But not if your firm is fucking worth millions and billions. That's just hire people for fuck's sake. Then just buy a yacht less. Is it really so fucking hard?
wrong information here, but it seems like they misspelled this image. But clearly what people are complaining about is the pronouns being added to this game and this franchise. And you know, you don't have to be an expert in the field, and you don't even have to be someone who feels one way or the other. You can like pronouns being added to games like this. You can also dislike it. But everyone looking at these things objectively can recognize that adding stuff like this and virtue signaling about gender ideology is not a great decision for your game.
No, it's not, because it already starts from the beginning that you are way more invested in your politics than freaking the game. This is just what it implies. And most of the time, that's what happens. And that's why it's shit, and that's why you shouldn't do it. But people are still doing it time after time after time again. And you know what? Good. Do it. Just get effed on every turn you do. Continue. Good.
And your franchise, and for every game that is quote-unquote successful with these sorts of things, there are infinite other games that are not successful.
Yes, there are some actual games that actually were good and you could play them. There are some positive things to say about those things. There are some games that actually do well, but it's not even a handful. So don't get me even, like, I don't want to hear that this is some viable strategy, because people will buy the game if it's a good game. And if you see this shit, it immediately just awakens some kind of red flags, and you're like, well, they probably don't give a fuck about the game and just do it so they can virtue signal. And that's most of the times the case.
After adding stuff like this. Now, things would get a little bit complicated when the designer of this game, Eric Lang, would have a complete meltdown on social media. So, you can see this post on Blue Sky where he says, "I'm so proud of Mass Effect and so endlessly tired of effing man babies who try to tank our BGG rating because we took 10 seconds to add pronouns to the squad mates. And yes, I realize that reacting to them gives them oxygen, but F off. I get to be mad about this stupid stuff.
No, you don't. You actually don't, because you created this. You and fuck-ups that think like you created this. So no, you don't get to be mad about it. It's your fault that it is that way. So at least take it.
It's like this dude discovered like curse words yesterday. He's like a teenager discovering curse words for the first time. Like,
yeah, probably, but I'm gonna be honest, I come from a culture that actually uses curse words on a regular basis. This just isn't. Like, even near that. Yet this is just
relax,
nothing.
Man. But here's the thing, okay? He's talking about people being man babies for leaving negative reviews on this game. And this post right here, this is something that a man baby does, complaining about people criticizing their product. Now, you can see the ratings breakdown at this current time. At the time of this specific post, there are, in terms of the 10 rating, there's 14. In terms of the 1 rating, there are 10. So keep that ratio in mind because we will revisit these rating breakdowns as it's updated over the course of time. However, in a Twitter post, he would go over to Twitter to complain further about this situation. In a now deleted tweet, he would say this: I hate even talking about this on social media, but...
Then don't talk about it. Nobody forces you. You can get the fuck away from it. No harm done. Just don't. Sometimes people forget that they can just not do something. That's an option. You can just fuck off.
If you played Mass Effect, the board game, would you mind giving it a rating on BGG to offset the effing man babies trying to tank the rating with one-star rating because they can't handle looking at pronouns on a character sheet? So once again, calling people effing man babies while this dude is simultaneously crying on multiple social media platforms about receiving a negative review on his board game. So this user would reply saying, good sir, I was about to get right on BGG and do that because you're Eric Lang and I will always respect you, but maybe you should reflect, listen, and stop centering your politics in a space others want to feel included in. And Eric Lang would reply saying, nice try. And like I said, all these tweets would be deleted, including this right here where he would say, deleted the stupid post because, well, you know why. I hate deleting posts that I stand behind, but F it. Twitter sucks so effing much.
Then go away. Simple as that. If you don't like Twitter, go away. And I'm not defending Twitter here, because Twitter has its downsides. Let's just call it like that. But if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. Twitter is a social media, and social media, in my opinion, are still luxury articles. You don't have to have social media. It's even pretty unhealthy for you if you think about it. If you're a young person who actually doesn't know how to act around this is some bad stuff you can get into.
Ah, yes, the bravest soldier on social media saying, I stand by everything that I say, including the things I delete because I'm getting criticism online. But anyways, everything kind of just adds up if you're looking at this dude and his social
Ref, that was a really low dig. I mean, you're correct, but it was a low dig.
Media accounts, including his Blue Sky account. Now, I mentioned this in a previous video from a few days ago, but I think people like me and anyone who is covering similar topics in the gaming industry should do a better job of checking Blue Sky accounts of relevant parties, because people on that platform have been essentially operating completely unchecked. They're living in a complete and utter bubble right now, okay? They're living in a bubble where they think they can say and do whatever they want, and none of their critics are going to see what they're doing on Blue Sky, which, by the way, again, Blue Sky is essentially a Twitter alternative where these people have gone because they believe that Twitter is no longer safe for them to exist on. And when we look at the Blue Sky account of Eric Lang...
I mean, that makes Twitter a little bit better, to be honest. Let's not lie to ourselves here. I mean, it's good. It's not the worst thing to happen.
We get some bangers like this, right? So people are very political on Blue Sky because, again, they think nobody's going to check. And I wanted to point out this post in particular. So Eric Lang says this: rare political post on Blue Sky, but wow, not rare, by the way. In quotes, political violence has no place, end quote. Looks at the United States of America's serial bipartisan funding of international political violence through checks notes, all of history. Alrighty then. So this looks cringe, like some like a Son Piker fan type post here, but looking at the dates of this post is really important for context. So this was back on July 15th of this year. This was 2 days after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. So he is posting this in response to people saying political violence has no place, and he is seemingly trying to justify that assassination attempt and political violence in general, which is a very unhinged and mask-off thing to do. And again, because it's Blue Sky, they think nobody's paying attention. But focusing on recent posts from Eric Lang, and I believe this was also deleted from their Blue Sky. So he says this in response to more negative reviews, saying, "This is what you get for letting your guard down for 1 second and speaking in anger. F me, I'm just tired." So you can see that the ratings breakdown has significantly shifted ever since he was begging for a more positive review.
Yeah, and by the fucking way, if you have the time to actually look up social media that often and get that invested in it, you actually don't have anything major going for you. Sorry. It's just, if you're living like that, it's just, no.
Views. In fact, if you compare the two, so here's before, when he was starting to ask for more positive reviews, and afterwards, about a day
Hey, as deserved. As fucking deserved.
Lapse between these two posts, where the 10 rating went from 14 to 30, so a 16 increase, and the 1 rating went from 10 to 52, a 42 increase. So obviously, balance is all things should be. If you're going to beg for positive reviews while calling the critics effing man babies, I think this is very fair. I think this is what should happen. And for everyone criticizing this, saying, oh, it looks like he's getting review bombed. Well, he was the same person asking people to leave positive reviews, right? He was doing the same thing.
Yeah. And by the way, if you plead for review, like for positive reviews, don't. Why? Either just let people speak their mind in that case. I mean, don't accept it when they are total toxic scum, because I won't do it. I want to protect actually the people that are watching me, because I don't actually care about if somebody calls me like stupid or tells to me that the person actually wants to off me. I don't care about that. But do you really think that a channel like mine, a reaction channel that's actually quite chill, needs some stupid motherfucker that actually insults and goes around and speaks like that? No. Get fucked for that. But if they want to do a dislike, do a dislike. That's fine. If you want to criticize me, please. But do it in a formal way. Some harsh words may drop, maybe unintended, don't care. But be a normal human being about it.
Just in a different direction. And also, it is important to note that for a time, and there was definitely some evidence suggesting this, some of the reviews, the 1-star reviews of this game were being deleted, and some of the users who were leaving those reviews were being banned. However, after checking this morning, it appears that the ratings are returning, and the evidence is very clear on that. So you can see the ratings breakdown now. The 10-star rating has only gone up to 35, and the 1-star rating has skyrocketed to 99. So if Eric Lang was tired earlier, he is napping now, because this is getting only worse and worse for him and this board game. And yeah, basically you reap what you sow. Nobody really feels sorry for you if you're going to inject all this woke ideology into your game and try to virtue signal and also chastise people for trying to criticize these sorts of things and not wanting it into their games or any of their hobbies, which I think is a very fair thing to do for these people who just want to enjoy games without being reminded of all this nonsense going on in the world.
True.
And the ratings of this really reflect that sort of mindset that most people, most potential and actual customers of games and franchises like this actually have. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, as always.
Beautiful video as always. Patakulites. Good night.